So, a definition of what the mind does, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is the seat of awareness, of thought, of volition. It feels and has memory. It's where you exist. Which, on that occasion, they are right, in parts. And so maybe some of you are sat here thinking, is my mind my brain? I mean, is that what it is? Friends, if you think your mind is your brain, and that's the view we take, which is supplanted by a very secular culture upon us, that reduces human beings, all of you, to neurons, synaptics, transmitters, and receptors that are governed by chemical and hormones only, and you're just a product of these things firing and working together. That's it, you're done. So the question has to come then, if you lose any of your brain function, which can happen for multiple reasons, from accidents, concussions, disease, cancer, dementia, death, do you lose yourself? Because if all you are is brain, you've lost everything. So it can't be true, theologically and logically. People who have all those injuries, temporary or permanent, they are no less of a person than before they had them. The person who's got a degenerative brain disease is still as valuable and as whole as a person in God's sight and in his kingdom as they were when they were sat there writing PhDs. No difference. That's why a baby, right from the womb, has the same value of life right through to the tomb. It's not based on what you can do. It's based upon something far deeper. So there must be two separate parts in view. And so how do they function? I need to stay simple here because we could really end up in a philosophy lecture if we're not careful. The brain and the mind function with each other. And in one form or another, to some degree, they receive information and process information, prioritize things, and work together in a way that makes us human. But there's an independence of the brain and the mind. So they work together, but they're independent. Because in death, the mind, biblically, the part of who you are, carries on eternally, to some degree, without overly unpacking that this morning, into a perfect state. And so therefore, there's a clear interaction also for life to exist of the dependency of the brain and the mind. How do we know this? Well, the functions that make you do things, the fact that your heart beats, the fact that you breathe is a brain function. But the fact you choose what you want to eat because you've got this taste in your mouth from last time and it really, really, you just want to relive that moment, that's your mind functioning. And the happiness around what you're eating, it's your mind functioning. It's working. It's what makes you human. And in the functionality of life, the brain is dominant. Breathing, eating, sleeping, your heart beating. But what makes you human and not an android is those feelings, these thoughts, these emotions, actions that outflow in relationships. And these two things do affect one another. Let me show you. So when the mind experiences fear, you feel afraid, right? Your heart rate goes up, that's a brain function. You might get a headache, that's a chemical response. Your adrenal glands start pumping chemicals through your body. Cortisol rises. So the mind's kicked the thing off, but the brain is providing everything needed in that moment to sort things out. Your brain is processing information. It receives it through sight and through your ears. This morning, the reason your mind is coming alive is because your brain is hearing information through your ears and seeing it through your eyes, and they're working together. That shape your belief and your thought and your feelings and your actions. And it's this mind, the whole of who you are, belief, thought, feelings, actions, that needs renewing, that's being metamorphosized. And it's a lifelong process. Transforming constantly, always imperfect, but becoming more Christ-like. And to do this, you require the Spirit of God at work. True transformation happens because of a miracle you participate in. Because Romans 1 tells us, we've read it, left to ourselves, all we will do is increase in knowledge and trust in ourselves. That's all we will do. And we will use it not to glorify God, but something or somebody else. And so we need to actively respond to the Spirit, challenging our thinking and living where our thinking and living is not Christ-like or biblical, that it becomes more Christ-like and more biblical. But here's the problem. That's going to take time and real conscious effort, and we've got to start building resilience. It's not going to change immediately. So you need to dig up all those old ways of thinking that you have in order that your mind might be fed with new Christ-exalting truth. For everything around you, as we said, is trying to shape us with its views and its values, its definitions of right and wrong and sin and evil, and that's changed dramatically in the past 10 years, as it seeks to draw your attention and my attention away from the revelation of God given to us for our joy. So you're going to have to reassess everything in light of knowing God. Everything. Well, how? Like, really how? Let's get to brass tacks this morning. Back to our opening reflections on Romans 12. You need to remember, think upon the mercies of God. Consider the way God has supernaturally revealed himself to you and saved you. How God has led you into truth this far. How he took you from being dead to him to alive in him, all by mercy. How he took your darkened heart and your depraved mind, for they're the things you had, and breathed gospel life by the Spirit through sheer grace that transformed your darkened heart to become living and your depraved mind to become clean.